7 beginner mistakes when feeding your chickens. This content looks at some of the more common mistakes people, especially beginners, make when feeding their chickens. Making mistakes is part of the learning process, but living with the mistake is not ideal for a poultry farmer because it is dangerous. Poultry is a livestock business, and any life gone can never return. Even old hands such as me had to start somewhere and make mistakes before and during the early stage of being in the business. Mistakes are inevitable in any profession. Remember, you will find conflicting views on some things. Use your common sense if you are unsure. I'm hoping this content takes a little out of the pens and factor out some of the feeding problems or mistakes beginners make in feeding their hen. This is the Poultry Side TV. If this is your first time of being in this channel, look for the subscription button and click subscribe. Once you are subscribed to this channel, you get unlimited notification of all our upcoming videos and training. Beginners' mistakes when feeding chicken is the topic of this content. 1. Feeding them toxic foods. Chickens are intensely curious creatures and will peck anyway at anything they see. Surprisingly, they seem to avoid many poisonous weeds such as daily nightshade. However, one thing they will peck at and swallow if they can see it are things like screw, nails, iron, bottles. Veterinarians call it hardware disease, and yes, it is a real thing. Once they swallow any of these hardware or any of these particles, their stool will change to greenish color. And once it changes, some inexperienced farmers will call it Newcastle disease because they have seen green poo or green poultry dropping. Common toxic food for chicken includes the following: moldy stuff. If you won't eat, don't give it to them. Any food that is dangerous to human should not be given to chicken as well, or even to any livestock at all. Seeds of the following should not be given to chicken: apple, apricots, peaches, plum, pears and cherries, avocado skin or stones, raw or dried beans, chocolate, green potatoes or tomatoes, onions. In addition to the above, avoid giving them things that are overly sweet, salty or fatty. Try to make sure that anything you give them has been washed clean of any residual pesticides before feeding to your birds. Imbalanced diet. Chicken roaming for food. If their diet is not correctly balanced, problems including vitamin deficiencies and malnutrition can occur. Vitamin deficiencies can cause the following symptoms: weakness, lethargy, soft bones, poor muscles, toe collins, trembling and poor feathering. It can as well cause pecking at each other. All of these problems can be avoided with correct nutrition. As extra insurance, give them a vitamin electrolyte supplements every few weeks. You must make sure that your birds take at least vitamin or electrolyte supplement to keep their system balanced. One of the most common deficiencies is the lack of calcium. Even great laying or egg-laying birds breed can suffer from this. That's why you see most of them will start breaking their eggs to look for any of the vitamins they are lacking in their body. When hens start to lay soft-shelled or rubbery eggs, they are usually lacking calcium. This can be easily fixed with the addition of oyster shells to the diet. It should be offered as a free choice in a separate container, not using a feeder. In the olden days, chicken were not really fed at all. They would get a handful of corn and whatever they could scratch up for themselves. How things have changed these days, we have better ideas about feeding our birds since we want them to be healthy and productive. It is not recommended to just scatter feed on the floor. The floor is a dirty place to eat from. Your chicken should be fed from a dedicated feeder. Also, remember that as chicks, they will need a special small container to eat from. And they must have a very good container for drinking. This will make them free from every infection. Next point is feeding on a schedule. All chicks should be free feeding. Let them eat what they want when they want it. They need high energy, so food should be available to them at all times. When your chicks become adults, around 16 weeks old, it is the time to decide how you want them to feed. The majority of people free feed. This means that food is available at all times. The majority of people do this for convenience for themselves and their birds. Other folks prefer to feed on a schedule of morning and evening time. Why this is an individual choice, I do not recommend it at all. Schedule feeding is not appropriate for some birds or some breed of birds, most especially for broilers that produce meat and have short time to live. Most chickens do not overreact, so they can self-manage. If you offer a limited feeding time, it is possible that the one timid flock members will not get enough to eat, because it will be by the side or the corner waiting for others to finish, waiting for others to drag the feed. When you get to the turn to eat, the feed is already exhausted, and it will continue starving and continue leaning and continue going down until it dies off. It ties you to a set strict schedule which cannot be mixed. You can of course still engage in hand feeding if you want to do so. Certainly, the chickens will enjoy the human contact, especially if you have threats on hand. If you are too busy and want to free feed them, you can use an automatic chicken feeder. We all love to spoil our hands with threats. I'm as guilty of it also as the next person, but we should remember that threats are just bad threats. Threats should be given in small amounts. 1 or 2 big food should be sufficient. Why? Because chicken will feed up on tasty snacks before eating their regular precious food. When they do that, their balanced diet goes out the window, and in extreme circumstances, it can lead to some significant problems in their health. Some of our favorite threats include the following: mealworms, ripe tomatoes, not green tomato, bed seeds, especially black oil sunflower seeds, greens, except iceberg lettuce, cracked corn, also known as chicken crack, feeding them with table scraps. In Europe and some other UK or American countries, giving table scraps to livestock is actually banned. The reasoning behind this is to prevent the spread of possible contagious diseases. But in many other countries, especially Africa, you are free to feed just about anything to your livestock. You can give a wide array of table scraps for vegetable or to leftovers. Just remember that scraps should be given in moderation to avoid malnutrition. As an example, most chickens love spaghetti, but it is a high carbohydrate source, so it should be restricted to an occasional threat. Often, people forget to provide their flock with supplements. The most important feeding supplement, in my opinion, is oyster shell. Oyster shells contain calcium carbonate, which is essential for their well-being. This helps the chicken to put shells on her eggs and maintain strong and healthy bones. It is important to feed the oyster shells separately from their feed, as too much calcium can also cause problems. The second supplement that is important for chicken is insoluble grit. It can be bought in bags from the feed source. Grit is essential for them to digest their food properly. If the hens are free-ranging, they will pick up some pebbles and bits of rocks from the ground, but if you cannot let them free range, they need grit in their system. Additional vitamin supplement for adult birds should be limited to about once a month, unless your birds are stressed or poorly. What should you feed your chickens? Chicken scratching. Like all living things, chickens need the appropriate nutrition for each stage of their life.
Very fantastic.
Chickens should be fed on chick starter
Mind.
scramble containing at least
You can
20%
build a
crude
cable for
protein
you.
and 5%
Collect
fat.
it as a contract.
They can continue on the 20% until they change over to layer feed. Laying hens and roosters can all be fed 16% layers feed. The formulation of feed that are sold in most farm and country stores have been precisely calculated by poultry growth specialists to take the guesswork out of it for you. Each feed bag that you look at should have a paper label attached to it, usually at the base. As you begin your chicken journey, this label may appear confusing as each particular product may have some extra ingredients. Some feed are organic, some are not. Just remember, you will pay a lot more for organic. Certain feeds offer marigold extract to yellow up the yolk. Not really necessary if your chicken are free range. Some are medicated. If your birds have been vaccinated for coccidiosis, do not give medicated feeds. Some folks like to mix their own rations for their birds. It is possible to do this, but it has to be done correctly and in precise ratio, otherwise the birds will not get all the nutrients they need to grow and thrive. Thank you once again for watching this video till the end. So now you know what and how to feed your chickens. You know how to keep them well fed so that they will love you forever. But do not overfeed them. Obesity is becoming a huge problem for household chickens, especially in broiler production. You may love them looking plump and well nourished, but it can lead to some serious laying problems in laying hair. Thank you. Men bless. I come your way once again with another interesting content. This is Poultry Side TV. Share the link to your friends, colleagues, groups, and other platforms you belong. Like the page if it is interesting to you. Make your comments and ask your questions, and I will respond to them at the appropriate time. I thank all my returning subscribers. May God continue to bless all of you for believing in me. Please do share this video to your friends, relatives, groups, and other platforms you belong. Share it to other farmers you know also, so that let this video reach them and enrich their businesses. Like the video, make your comment, ask questions where you think is necessary. If you have not subscribed by now, please look for the subscription button and click subscribe. Tap the notification bell so that once any of my video is released, you will be notified. If you are watching us from the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, please continue to follow us. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. Learn from the video and make others learn also. Thank you once again. Bye till I return with another interesting topic. I love you all. You are watching the Poultry Side TV.